Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be testing out a lot of new makeup. I have almost enough to do a full face of first impressions. So some of this stuff I did have to kind of finesse to make it work. I ran into some snags here and there, but this is the finished product. So I'm just going to take y'all through, show y'all what I got, and tell y'all what I think about them. So before we get into that, if you're here for the first time, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is SonyaNicole. I post makeup content every week, including some stuff for makeup lovers who are 40 and over. So if you're interested in that, if that sounds like your cup of tea, make sure you subscribe. I would love to have you join and I would really appreciate the support. Okay, you guys, let's jump right into it. So let's start off with the foundations. This is the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. So I'm going to be trying this one today, but I already know that it's going to be too light for me. This one is in the shade Tan Medium Deep. They do have one other shade darker than this called Medium Deep. When I made this order, they didn't have that shade, but they do have it in stock now. But this only comes in 8 shades total. So I'm guessing they're waiting to see like how these shades sell before they add more to it. I don't know why brands do that. To me, it just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so this is meant to be a tinted moisturizer. It's supposed to give you anywhere from sheer to medium coverage, and some of the key ingredients in here are hyaluronic acid and squalene. So because this is a tinted moisturizer and it's not meant to give you a whole lot of coverage, I'm thinking that maybe I can get away with this and it wouldn't look like too off for me. But if it does look too off, what I am going to do is just mix in some of my e.l.f. foundation and see how that goes. But I'm gonna start off with just this. So I'm doing what I think is like maybe a half a pump, and you can see that it looks really light right now, but let's see what it looks like when I blend it out. It's definitely reminding me of this CC cream because that CC cream was like really light on me. This one doesn't have as much coverage though as the CC cream, which is to be expected, but it is still like too light on me. Okay, so I have it on this side of my face and it doesn't look all that bad because the coverage is light right now. But I do feel like I want to add in a little bit more, or not a little bit more, but I want to add in some of the e.l.f. foundation. I really wanted to test the hydrator out on its own, but I'm going to add in some of this e.l.f. foundation because just to darken it up a little bit. I'm still going to try to keep this at like maybe like in between light to medium coverage though, because that's kind of like what I was going for today. I didn't want full coverage today. So of course, mixing in the e.l.f. foundation, it is like altering the coverage of the tinted moisturizer, but I will say with these two together, I do like the finish of them. I feel like I could have gone in with a little bit more of the foundation just to darken it up just a little bit, but remember I do still have to do like bronzer and setting powder and all that too. So this still looks a little light, but it doesn't look bad because it'll all, you know, come together in the end. But unfortunately, I won't be able to test out the tinted moisturizer on its own. But for those of y'all who watch my videos, y'all know how this goes for me, especially when I'm trying out drugstore products. I go through this all the time. Okay, I'm going to change up the way I do my makeup a little bit today. So I'm doing my eyeshadow next. So I do already have some primer on. I use my e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer. So for my eyeshadow, I'm going to be trying the Wet n Wild Color Icon. I lost the name of this palette. I'll have it up on the screen, but it was on the little sticker and I tore it off. But it's one of the new 5-pan shadow palettes. So that's what it looks like. Now online, I didn't realize that this color in the middle looked like that. I don't really care for that color, but the reason I got this one is because I'm thinking like with these two shades over here, I could do like something cool toned, this one a little more warm. This shade in the middle, I thought that that was a bit more rose gold than it is, and I don't know if you can see on the camera, but it has like a lot of like green and gold reflex to it, and I just don't care for that color, so I don't think I'm going to be using that. I wanted to try this because I'm curious to see like how it compares to the e.l.f. bite-size eyeshadows. So I'm gonna start off with this dark brown shade here. I'm gonna put that on the outer part of my lid right here. And I will say right off the bat, the color payoff seems to be pretty nice. And I'm gonna try to layer up those two shimmery shades, this one and this one. So I'm gonna put this one on the lid first and then top it with that. I wanna see what that looks like. So I feel like this one, the color of it looks different on my eye than it does in the pan. It looks a lot more of like a brownish gold, I guess. I was expecting more of like a rose gold color, but I don't see like any rose at all on my lid. And I feel like these shimmers, they're not as pigmented as the shimmers in the e.l.f. palettes. At least this particular one is not. It's okay, it's not horrible, but maybe it's because it's like more so the color of my skin tone and I wasn't expecting that. I'm putting a little bit of that brown matte shade on my lower lash line on the outer corner. And then before I top the shimmery shade with the silver shimmery shade, I'm going to take the lighter matte shade, this one here. I'm going to buff the look out with that. I'll see how I like that first and then see if I want to add that silver to it. So I will say, like, the color of this particular shade on my lid, the color is okay, but I'm not too crazy about like how it's applying. It seems to be like super powdery, kind of like all over the place. Like, I don't know if you can see, like, there's kickback when I'm blending it out. Like, some of the eyeshadow is kind of like going all over the place when my brush is hitting my skin. You might not be able to see that on camera, but it's like a really powdery formula. Okay, now I'm just going back over that brown shade and I'm just blending right on top of it just to make sure it's blended in with the colors on both sides of them. But while I'm blending this out, I already know that this isn't a palette that I would use like that, because the eyeshadow, it looks okay, but I don't think that they're quite as pigmented. The brown one, I do think it is nice and pigmented, but the other two colors that I just used, I don't think that they're quite as pigmented as some of the eyeshadows that I use in the e.l.f. palettes. And then like this matte shade that I use on the outer part of the eye, it was just like super powdery. Okay, I don't know how this is going to work out, but we'll see. But I'm gonna take some of this silvery shade. I'm gonna use that as my inner corner, and if I feel like it throws everything off, then I'm gonna take some of the shade and then top this like brown shimmery shade with some of the silver to like tie it in. But I'm gonna start off with this. I need to pick up another brush. I'm gonna see how this looks in the inner corner. So I actually think it looks okay as an inner corner highlight, but that's only because this is not as like pigmented and it's not giving me as much of a pop as I was expecting. And I guess that's a good thing for this particular look, but in terms of like how the eyeshadow is performing, I don't like it. Like this, I'm not crazy about this palette. Now this is just one of the palettes. I think that these come in 5 different color schemes. So some of the other ones may perform better than this one, but I don't like this one. I think if you're thinking about getting these, you might as well stick with one of the e.l.f. palettes. And these cost $3.99 and these cost $3. So they're like $1 less, but I definitely prefer the e.l.f. palettes over this Wet n Wild one. Alright, so let's move on to some concealer, and I wanted to use the Wet n Wild Megalast Incognito concealer, but let me show you what I was told I was going to get online versus what I actually got. So this is the shade Light Medium, and I'm going to show you on my phone so y'all can see exactly what I'm seeing. So this is what the shade Light Medium looks like. And let me also show you what the swatch of it looks like. This is what the swatch Light Medium looks like. And this is the actual concealer. So can you guys see the drastic difference? And I checked the color to make sure that they were the same thing. So this is the shade light medium in person. This is the shade light medium on the online swatch. In general, Ulta's online swatches tend to be off, so I do keep that in mind, but this is like a drastic difference. So I'm not even going to take the plastic off of this because I can't do anything with this. Like I wouldn't even use this for eyeshadow primer because it's just way too light. So this is the concealer that I really wanted to try out today, but instead I'm going to try another one. I don't think this is new. I did buy this concealer in this haul, but I think that this has been out for a while. This is the Catrice Liquid Camouflage High Coverage Concealer, and I don't know like what type of coverage this one is supposed to have, but it's supposed to be a high coverage, ultra long lasting concealer, waterproof and non-transfer. So I'm assuming that this is supposed to have a matte finish. I usually don't do matte finishes under the eye, but because this was a very inexpensive product and it looks like a shade that I can use, I decided to try it out. And maybe if it is a matte finish, maybe I can get away with not even having to set the under eye. We'll see. So I'm gonna go in with this one instead, but like I said, I don't think that this is like a brand new product in the store, but it's new to me. And I don't think I told y'all, but this is the shade Beige. So I'm gonna start out with just a little bit because I don't know what the coverage is supposed to be. I'm probably gonna have to go in with more than this, but we'll see. So that little bit of concealer blended out okay. I don't think the coverage is quite as good as my two main concealers, but I really wanted to try this out because I'm always looking for like new drugstore complexion products that I can use because I just don't have good luck with finding stuff that I can use. That actually doesn't look bad, but let me apply some more. And I'm also not used to these like really small applicators because the other two concealers that I use, the applicators are just a lot bigger. This one does have more of like a almost like a goldenish undertone to it, but it actually doesn't look all that bad. I'm actually gonna try a little bit on my cheeks too because like I said, I did want to go for more of like a light coverage today, but just to try this out, I'm gonna put some of this on some of my cheek area. So I'm just gonna blend out over some of those dark spots on my cheeks. That did cover up a lot on my cheeks very nicely. So the reason I wanted to do my eyeshadow first is because I wanted to see if I could use the concealer to help clean up the under eye area after I do the eyeshadow. It was one of my recent videos, I can't remember which one it was, but one of my recent videos when I was editing, I noticed that I had a lot of fallout on my under eye area and I just didn't catch it like while I was filming. So when I saw that, I said, let me make a mental note to do my eyeshadow first and then do my concealer and see how that works out. And then I can also use my concealer to like clean up this little part right here too. So I do think I like doing the eyeshadow first and then the concealer. I think I might stick with this. Okay, so I would say that the coverage of this is definitely matte. I don't really like the color of it though. I do think it's just like a little bit too like yellowish, but it doesn't look bad. So let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna take a damp sponge. This doesn't have any powder on it. I'm just going to lightly pat over the under eye area, but because this does look like it's drying down like to a matte finish, I'm just going to set it with a brush today. I usually set my under eye with a powder. Today I'm gonna set it with a very loose brush. So I'm just gonna lightly brush the powder on my under eye just to very lightly set it, but like I said, I feel like this does have a matte finish to it, so I don't want my under eye area to dry out too much. So like right up in here, I don't care for the powder. I think it's just a bit too much for my under eye. I feel like it just looks really heavy and cakey right up in here. And for those of you who don't follow my channel, I have very problematic under eyes anyway, but I feel like this particular concealer is accentuating some stuff. The color of it doesn't look all that bad. Like it's something that I can get away with, but I do feel like it looks really heavy like right up in here. Okay, so before I set the rest of my face, I do have two new blushes that I want to share with y'all. The first one is the e.l.f. Putty Blush. I have no idea what color this is because I threw away the packaging, but I'll have it up on the screen if I can figure it out. But this is one of the new e.l.f. cream blushes. But the one that I'm more interested in is one of the new Rare Beauty blushes, and this one is in the shade Nearly Apricot. So that's what this one looks like, and I love like peachy type blushes. I do feel like this one looks a bit more pink than what I was expecting, but I am still very interested in trying this out. This is only going to be my second time trying a cream blush. The other one that I tried was this one from Rare Beauty, which I never use. I think that one is just way too difficult to apply because it has a matte finish and it dries down really, really fast. Now I'm hoping that this one does not do that. So I'm just going to lightly apply that. I like putting my blush like right behind the apples of my cheeks so it kind of like lifts my face a little bit. And I felt like with me going with like a lighter coverage for my foundation, a nice cream blush would tie in nicely with that. So I don't know if y'all can make it out on camera, but in person it is giving me like a nice like natural looking flush on my cheeks. And it looks like a nice shade. Like I was thinking it wasn't going to be like peachy enough, but I do like the shade of it. I cannot wait to set my face and put some bronzer on. Okay, so there's the blush. Unfortunately, I have a little breakout right here, so I do feel like the blush kind of accentuated that, but that's no big deal. But I do like that. I think it's really pretty. I do feel like I'm getting like a nice natural looking flush on my cheeks, so I do like it. And this one was really easy to apply, a lot easier than that other blush. Okay, finally, I'm gonna be setting my face and giving me some color back into my skin. So lately, I've been setting my foundation with the Fenty powder foundation because this gives your skin like a nice blurring effect and it makes it look really smooth. However, I am going to be trying out a new setting powder that's supposed to give you like a nice blurring effect on contact. So I really want to try that out, and I don't want the Fenty powder to kind of like alter or like help the setting powder blur my skin. So instead, I'm going to be using my Sephora Micro Smooth powder. This one is in the shade Tan. This is actually a baked powder foundation, and I'm gonna set it with, this isn't the brush that I normally use, but I'm using this brush today because this is a bit more loose than the one that I would typically use. I don't want to put a whole lot of powder on my face today. I definitely want to give my face some color, but I just don't want a whole lot of powder on top of this foundation. I don't want to add extra coverage to this foundation. I want it to stay like nice and light for today. So I'm gonna go in with my Charlotte Tilbury bronzer, and this will really like add some much needed warmth to my face. I'm going to set my face, and I'm going to be trying the Benefit Porefessional Super Setter Spray. And this one is supposed to give you kind of like a blurring effect on contact. It's also supposed to be a long-lasting setting spray. And I think I read somewhere, I don't see it anymore, but for some reason I thought I read that this makes your makeup last for up to 16 hours. Maybe I saw that online. But I'm not testing that today. I'm just testing to see if it like blurs and softens the skin on contact. This is supposed to be a lightweight microfine mist. So it's supposed to be similar to the consistency of the e.l.f. spray. So I'm just shaking it up really good. Oh, it has two lids on it. So it has this one and that one. All right, let me spray it out into the air a couple of times. Yeah, it is nice and misty. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom you guys in for a close-up. I do feel like it did give me a little blurring effect. Now, I do kind of feel like all setting sprays do that to an extent, but I do feel like my face does look instantly better, instantly softer, and I'm looking particularly at this area here. I do feel like it looks kind of blurred. like instantly. So so far so good on that one. Like I said, I'm not testing the longevity of this one today, so I have to give you guys an update on that, but it felt really nice going on the skin, and I do feel like it did give me like a little, you know, blurring effect. I put my eyeliner on off camera because I'm not using anything new. This is the Rare Beauty eyeliner. I put it on way thicker than I meant to on this eye, so I just did it on here so it could match. But I'm gonna be trying out a new mascara today, so I'll put part of this on camera. I usually do my mascara off camera just to save time, but today I'm going to be trying out the new Essence Hello Good Stuff Volume Mascara with coconut oil. And y'all probably know that Essence comes out with a new mascara like every other day. So my favorite mascara ever is actually this one, the Essence Lash Princess Mascara. So I don't buy Essence mascaras like every time they come out because who has time for that? But I was really interested in this one, so we're gonna give this one a try. The main claim of this one is that the coconut oil is supposed to nourish and strengthen your lashes while also giving you volume, and it has 93% natural ingredients in it. So I'm liking the way that the wand looks. I like wands that look like this. I don't really care for like the spiky looking wands, so this does look promising. It looked promising, but I don't like it so far. Compared to that Lash Princess mascara, this one just doesn't seem to be doing anything. I mean, it's doing something. Let me take that back. It's just not, it's not as good as that other Essence mascara. All right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna finish this up offline, off camera rather, and I'll be right back. Okay, the mascara is on, so I'll zoom you in so you can get a close-up. Now, you can definitely tell that I have mascara on, but I don't think that this was anything special, and I spent a lot of time putting the mascara on my top lashes to make it look this full. Now, this mascara doesn't claim to be a lengthening mascara, but it does claim to be voluminous, and I mean, I feel like you can tell that I have mascara on, but I don't consider it to be a voluminous mascara. If you like this one, this Essence mascara, I would say stick with this one. I don't care for this. Like, I don't think I'm gonna be using this one anymore. Okay, let's finish up with some lips. So this is one of the new Maybelline Ultimatte Slim lipsticks. This one is in the shade More Taupe. So let me show y'all the packaging first, because I think the packaging is really pretty. This line of lipsticks comes in like 10 different shades. I wanted to get this one because I felt like this would have been just like more for like every day. So again, this one is in the shade More Taupe. I feel like this color will look good with or without a lip liner, but I'm gonna try it without a liner first. Then I'll add a liner if I feel like I need to. So it is really nice and comfortable going on the lips. So this color, it doesn't look bad, but it's not the shade that I was expecting. I guess when I'm looking at it, it does kind of look like what it looks like in the tube, but when they said More Taupe, there's another Maybelline lipstick. It's called Touchable Taupe, and of course I can't find it, but I was expecting that one to look a bit more, or this one to look a bit more like Touchable Taupe. This one is okay. It's a color that I would wear, but it's definitely for me more of like a fall color. Okay, so I just went ahead and put my hair down, but let me just give y'all a quick overview of the stuff that I did try out today. So these products are the ones that I didn't really care for. Now the Tinted Hydrator, I'm not going to say that I didn't care for it, but I did know when I put it on that it wasn't going to be the right shade for me. It does seem to do what it says it's supposed to do though, like it's supposed to give you a sheer to medium coverage. I didn't build it up to medium coverage because the color wasn't right for me. So I'm not going to say I don't like this, but I just can't really tell, unfortunately, because the shade is just too off. I do think because of the price point though, I might go ahead and get the deeper shade. It only comes in 8 shades. They definitely need to extend that, but I do think that the deeper shade would probably be more comparable for my skin tone. So this Catrice concealer, I would say if you have dry under eyes, don't use this because it does look like a matte finish to me, and I just feel like it is kind of like caking up like right on my inner corner. It was easy to apply and to blend out, I will say that. But in terms of like how it's laying on my under eye, I don't really care for it. Now this next one, I couldn't try out the Wet n Wild concealer. So I would just say if you do buy this, especially if you get it on Ulta's website, because I'm assuming you can also get it from Wet n Wild's website. If you go to Ulta's website, just make sure that you don't really go by the swatches. And unfortunately, I don't know what else you could really go by. But if you're looking into the shade light medium, this is what light medium looks like. Don't go off of that swatch that's on Ulta's website. And then this mascara I just would not recommend. Again, if you like that other Essence mascara, stick with this one. To me, the only thing that this did was just add a little bit of black color to my lashes to make them look a little bit more dramatic. But generally speaking, I don't really think this mascara did anything. Now these next three products I really liked. This Rare Beauty blush, I love it. I think it gives you like a really nice, subtle, natural looking flush of color. And again, I got the shade Nearly Apricot. This comes in 4 different shades. I love this setting spray so far. I feel like this is my favorite product out of everything that I tried out today. I do think it does actually blur your skin on contact, and it feels really nice when you're spraying it on. I forgot to tell y'all that this is the mini. So this mini one is the $15 one, but it does come in a bigger bottle for I think $32. Now this lipstick, I'm not all that crazy about the color of it. It is one that I could wear, especially in the fall, but it's not really like a go-to, like everyday type of shade for me. But I will say that I love the way it feels on my lips so far. It feels really nice and comfortable. I feel like you can easily build this color up, and I do think that this one is comfortable like the Rare Beauty lipstick. So let me know what y'all thought about all of the makeup that I tried out today. I really hope that y'all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe before you leave today, and I'll see y'all back for my next one. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.